Let's build a testing lab using VirtualBox. First of all, let's have a look at the design of the virtual lab we're building. I'll need a machine that I can use to run testing from. I'll be loading this with the Kali Linux system. I'll need a target to test, and so I'll use another virtual machine and load it with the Metasploitable Linux distribution. This is a distribution of Linux which is deliberately insecure and designed to be used for security training purposes. I'll set up a Debian host, and I'll also want some Windows targets, so I'll set up 2 Windows systems using fully functional, time-limited operating systems downloaded from the Microsoft website, Windows 7 and Windows 10. VirtualBox provides a virtual network to connect these servers, and with this, I'll then have a computer and network environment for my testing. VirtualBox also provides network translation across a virtual gateway, enabling these servers to connect to the internet if required. Okay, let's go start the setup. VirtualBox is available from the virtualbox.org website. On the left we can see links to downloads and documentation, and on the right the latest news. Of particular interest at the bottom of the screen is the link for pre-built virtual machines. We'll be accessing some of them later when we populate the lab. I'll click the large download button and go to the downloads page. From here, I can download the appropriate VirtualBox system for my host environment. I'm using a Windows 10 system, so I'll download the platform package for Windows hosts. We'll also load the VirtualBox extension package. The packages have now downloaded. This is a standard Windows application installation using default options. I've already installed the software, so let's take a look at it. Here we have a brand new VirtualBox system. At the top we have the VirtualBox menu items, File, Machine and Help. These are used to manage VirtualBox. Below them are 4 of the common machine menu items which are used to manage virtual machines: New, Settings, Discard and Start. The right-hand panel displays details of the currently selected virtual machine and any snapshots that have been taken for recovery, selected using the 2 buttons at the top right, Details and Snapshots. I tend to do fresh loads of machines for testing, so I tend not to use snapshots that much. Let's take a look at the File menu option. This provides the functions associated with managing the virtualization and importing and exporting of appliances. The first item is Preferences. Selecting Preferences brings up a pane for setting the virtualization configuration. The first general drop-down box allows the folder for virtual machines to be set. This is where the virtual machine information will be held. We'll see this later when we've got our images loaded. The second is the VirtualBox Remote Display Protocol or VRDP authentication, which is used when accessing virtual machines remotely. This protocol is similar to RDP. I won't be using remote access, so this default is fine. The next function is Input, which is used to set the various virtualization manager and virtual machine hotkeys. A particularly useful hotkey on the Virtual Machine tab is the Ctrl-Alt-Del combination, which we can see here is Host plus Del. Going back up to the top, we can see the Host key is Right Control. So Right Control and Del pressed together when in a virtual machine will cause the virtual machine to behave as if Ctrl-Alt-Del had been pressed. Another useful virtual machine hotkey is Host plus T, which takes a snapshot. I won't go through these in detail, but you might want to familiarize yourself with them as you experiment further with VirtualBox. When the box at the bottom left of this panel, Auto Capture Keyboard, is checked, then the keyboard input will go to the virtual machine, if the cursor is in the virtual machine window. This is really useful, so I'll leave it set. The next function is Update, which configures VirtualBox to check for updates and allows the frequency and the type of update to be set. I'll leave these as they are. The language defaults to English, and this is fine. The display setting allows the screen size of a guest operating system to be specified. I'll leave this as automatic. The checkbox for raising machine windows can be left unchecked. Network preferences are important as they define how the virtual machines communicate with each other. The NAT network pane is currently blank, so using the plus sign on the right, let's add a new NAT network. Clicking this network entry then displays the details of this network. I'll take the default name of NAT network and the subnet 10.0.2.0/24, allowing the VirtualBox DHCP server to issue network addresses in the range 10.0.2.1 to 10.0.2.254. I'll leave DHCP checked and IPv6 addressing unchecked, as I'll run an IPv4 network. I don't need to do port forwarding, so I'll leave that. I'll make sure the network enable box at the top of the pane is checked, and we're done. Virtual machines will now be issued an IP address in the NAT network range, and we'll go through network address translation when they connect out of the NAT network into the network on the host machine. We can see the extension pack that I downloaded and installed, and I don't need to configure a proxy server. OK, that's preferences set up. Let's go back to the File menu. The next two options are to import and export an appliance. In VirtualBox terms, an appliance is a full copy of a virtual machine that's ready to go. The OVF standard is supported by many virtualization products, and there are lots of pre-configured virtual machines available for download from the VirtualBox website and other locations on the internet. OVF appliances come in two formats. The first is as multiple files in the VMDK format, which come with an XML file with an OVF extension, which connects them together. The second format is a single packed file with an OVA extension. These are what we'll use as we set up our virtual testing lab. The next two options in the File menu are the Virtual Media Manager, which provides a summary of the virtual hard disks, DVD drives, and floppy disks associated with each image, and the Network Operations Manager. I'll skip these for the moment as we don't have any virtual machines installed yet. While I don't need to do it on a new system, the File menu also allows me to check for updates to the VirtualBox software and reset warnings.